yet. Hey, Coach.
Al the voice. What's up, girl?
How you doing?
Man, how you doing? How your mama doing?
How your daddy doing? How's all that stuff doing? Yes,
Man,
I'm
I'm
doing
doing
real
wonderful.
good. It is.
I'm ready for another good day of, just chilling.
And of course, I'm excited. There's a big debate going on right now, but I'm thinking to myself, we need to have a little fun before we go in and figure out what's happening. It's another edition of Interludes Extra presents Talk on Tuesdays, and we are back and fired up for you as always. Always
Always,
fired up.
always. We
Of
always keep
course.
the irons in the fire. Always keep the irons in the fire.
I like how you think. I love how you think. I love how you think. So that's cool. And of course, I'm celebrating with my jersey, but it's another edition of Interludes Extra presents Talk on Tuesdays. Let's go. It's another edition of Interludes Extra presents Talk on Tuesdays. We are so excited to have you here, and of course, doing what we do, which is always making sure that you guys enjoy. And I'm like I said, I'm really excited about what's happening. I can't believe we're in the second week of September, Coach. Can you believe it?
Second week of September, first week in the NFL, and I got my throwback on with the Bears. And I like the jersey. I picked a couple of things up there. I'm an avid Jordan person, period. So you know how that go. And we ain't got to worry about that. But for those of you who have not had an opportunity, maybe give out your local grocery store or whatever, I'm always picking up some little trinkets. The debate on who the GOAT is in this month's issue. They've got the GOAT, the 23, 24, 23. Is who's going to be the GOAT? The Jordan, Kobe, or LeBron. It's all in that book right there, and I can't wait to open it up. But for you, and it's amazing that you got that Bears throwback jersey on, because do you know this is the 25th anniversary, and look who I got.
Wait a minute. Let me stop sharing my screen. Peyton. Oh, look at that. Oh.
I knew you were going to like that. The throwback of Peyton. 25th memorabilia of this is death and all that. So, they got the old Peyton from Mississippi up in there running the ball from the Bears from the Super Bowl. I mean, just a big time Peyton himself doing his thing. The jersey you rocking tonight, coming back in from old Soldiers Field, doing our thing back in the day. So I knew you would like that one tonight. I was going to save that for a quick surprise for you.
Well, you know what? I am surprised. And like I said, I'm really excited that you got a chance to, share that with the audience, because I'm sitting here like, oh, wow, look at that. And of course, many of us here in Chicago were huge fans or are huge fans of the Bears. We'll talk about what's happening with the Bears now. But of course, let me do my usual. This is Interludes Extra presents Talk on Tuesdays. And of course, we have our Key Spot. It's our affiliate sponsor for today. And now it's Key Spot. What's happening? Register today for the virtual networking. It's happening on September 19th, Thursday. Always the third Thursday of the month. And it's happening at 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central. And share and grow your business today. Go to keyspot.com/events. And of course, their logo is share, connect, and grow. Always excited to do that. And of course, the A DJ Saved My Life. It is the ebook by yours truly, Val the Voice Johnson. Of course, a part memoir and also the ABCs of podcasting. Coach, it's been fun getting on Facebook Live or IG Lives, giving, I like to call it a DJ motivational moment. It's in the book, but a lot of the stuff is just coming off the dome, man.
Hey, that's the best. When you just come up off the framework, you know what I'm saying, and put it out there, it's more genuine, and it becomes really good information because it's what you've gone through, what you've grown, and you can speak to that as opposed to trying to put something in a framework and then you try to spit back something like a teleprompter. That's hard.
I know. But it's fun because I'll come up with something. I did something, I think yesterday, and I said, be kind and rewind. Do you remember that being said to you when we had like VHS tapes to return back to Blockbuster and Hollywood Video? You guys remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's really important. But thank you so much. Mr. Springer is in the building, of course. Thank you so very much for that, Mr. Springer. And then, of course, you can go to purelighthouse.media.net to get the ebook. And, of course, our Patreon community, Find Your Voice. Join our community at patreon.com/interludes. As you would like to learn how to do your own podcast. I got a friend of mine from Brooklyn who just reached out to me, Coach. Her name was Abida. She said, hey, Val, I'm thinking about starting a YouTube channel. I gave her like a consult real quick, but she's like, I want to be your student. I said, yay.
Hey, that's good. Hey, you know, they said you keep digging and you're going to find something.
Of course. And of course, the coach is in the building doing his thing. We're going to be talking a new film that's coming out, Rebel Ridge. And of course, we're going to be talking about the NFL the first week. But of course, we'll be right back after these messages as we let you guys know what's happening. Hey, here we go. We're kicking off a whole brand new season. I know you guys have missed us, but we are back. And of course, it's always exciting and wonderful to have a very talented individual who has started a wonderful tech company. And then, of course, he is the host of Tech Thursdays on a platform called The House of Creativity. And he has just finished his book, Where? Jamalane Wise. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. Val the Voice Johnson. I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me.
One thing I forgot to mention is that also about, I want to say October, November of last year, Wise stepped into the podcasting game, initially starting on Instagram and then started his platform, Wise Going Live. I was recently on the platform, but I think I've been there 4 times. It has been extremely gratifying to see how far you've come as a host, a podcaster, and also a moderator, sir. So I just wanted to say kudos.
Thank you. Thank you very much. When you're around great talent like yourself, Val the Voice, it only does it inspires you to go forth. And we have amazing community of people that inspire us to actually, keep accountable. You keep me accountable. I keep you accountable. We all keep each other accountable, and we try to do the great thing to move forward.
What is going on? I got to do the opening. I didn't do that. Just like from that movie, I'm going to Get You Sucker. Everybody needs a theme song.
And you got that right.
Everybody needs a theme song. Let's not get it twisted. What's so cool about the podcasting, I want to call it community that I'm a part of, is that we do what we can to help connect and share and grow. And Jamalane Wise, he started his podcast probably a little bit before you did, Coach. But what's fun he's about 50 episodes in, and you know what's getting ready to happen, which I'm really excited to share with you guys. Coach is going to be on Wise going live at 5 this coming Friday at 5 p.m.
Man,
Eastern, 4 p.m.
I'm excited.
Central. You're coming court
Excited.
to cash.
Man, I'm so excited to go on Wise at 5, baby, just to talk about something. And I think it was funny that you talked to him on the show, and just like I said, everybody holding everybody accountability for stuff. It was just really nice to now be that guest on the opposite side of the microphone, get the questions thrown at me. So I'm excited definitely to be on there and sharing some good information. And for those of you, I was just explaining to Val, I'm also taking a master's certification to just get a little more of my NIL stuff. So it is a great opportunity to be on Wise to be able to talk about stuff we're talking about. So it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, so he's going to be on, and that YouTube channel is Wise Going Live at 5, and that's the name of the show. And like I said, I'll go ahead and place it in the room chat and let you guys check it out. But like I said, it is so much fun. And like I said, it was good interviewing him, and I was interviewed on his episode. So we do now the Interludes podcast live. So we streamed it live, but guess what? Guess what, Coach?
What's that?
I gotta re-edit it because I misspelled his middle name, Mullane.
Oh, I saw you put it. So I'm tripping for one because you say every hero got to have a theme song, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was going to ask you, do you want to take the stairs or take the window, right? We'll get you, sucker, either way it go. But I'm like, man, Wise got his book. Val got the DJ. Man, my mans in them is around the corner. I'm telling you now, I'm going to be working on my mans in them, and it's going to be a smash. Can't wait.
I think you need to go ahead and do that, of course. Oh, my goodness. We have got to talk about this film now. Coach, did you get a chance to watch it?
I thought you were going to reverse it and talk about the Tyreek Hill situation into that.
Actually, I was, you know what? Let's do that. Let's in fact do that because I think I got the pictures ready.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a reference to that, and I think it'll make sense to everybody.
Okay.
But we were talking about Val and I yesterday a little bit, from Sunday. For those of you who don't know who Tyreek Hill is, ex Kansas City Chiefs, now a Miami Dolphin. He's my man, the fastest guy in the NFL. And Val, this is the guy who also had the opportunity to talk back to our guy from the Olympics who was going to race him. It's my mind now. The American Olympic guy who just won the 100. And God dog it.
Noel Lyles?
Yeah, Noel Lyles. They kind of went back and forth. This is who Noel Lyles was talking to, who commented about, they're going to race 50 yards versus 100 because as a football player and a sprinter, it'd kind of be an even race as a 50-yard dash because football players only really run 40-yard dashes when they're trying out as opposed to 100. So I can't wait to see that get set up. But Sunday, on the way to the stadium, as they played the Patriots at home in Miami, Tyreek was doing a little speeding through the neighborhood, and all of a sudden, he got himself in a situation that a police officer pulled him over. And the original report, Val, was how he was thrown and pulled out of the car and this and that and thrown to the sidewalk. Well, today on CBS Today with Gail, and Oprah was on there today, they physically showed the video. I wish it was prepared that we could show it tonight, but they showed the video and the footage from the cop cam. Now, what moved me was I went through that same exact similar situation, almost exactly what he did, except the piece when he rolled the window down, gave the officer his license, and then he told the officers, man, get away from my car. Now that's going to tick any police officer off. And then he came back and knocked on the window and said, what do you need? What you want, man? Get away from my car. After I saw the video, Val, and I looked at it, we're always talking about what now? De-escalation, right? And supposedly police is supposed to do a better job of de-escalating the situation, or even bringing in a psychological counselor on these situations. In my personal opinion, on the football side with Tariq, yeah, you're on your way to your game. They've been speeding. Now, from what I'm hearing, 135 is a little more than speed. That's reckless driving. So, in all essence, the police have the right to stop him. Now, if Tariq could have just, this is my personal opinion, guys, but if Tariq could have just, when he rolled the window down and gave the police officer, his license, just went on and apologized first. Say, hey, listen, I'm on the way. I got to get treatment before the game. I left the house late. I'm running a little bit late, man. The officer, I apologize. Didn't mean to speak. It may would have went a completely different way. And the officer could have said, hey, listen, man, I get it. No problem, this and that. Just hold on 1 second. You clean, run his license, do his check. Say, hey, man, I'm going to let you go. Hey, by the way, I'd love to get 2 tickets sometime this season. And that conversation would have probably been over. Now, on the police officer side, he could have saw the situation and maybe tried to de-escalate it himself, Val, by simply saying, hey, listen, man, I'm not trying to even do that today. I got to monitor this traffic going into this football stadium, man. I really ain't trying to have no situation going on. If you could just stay in the car, do what you do, let me check you out, I'll let you be on your way. But when that didn't happen, every police got bagged up buddies, and his buddy jumps in on the scene like, what the hell, what's up, what's up? You always got that one cocky cop, like in the George Floyd situation. And when you get that one cocky cop, he doesn't care who you are because he's just trying to get on TV. And when that one cocky cop came up and opened that door and pulled him out of the car, now you're wrong, and then slammed him to the ground. And he told him, I just came off an operated knee. I'm not trying to bend and do anything. I got a game, and I'll get to the stadium early enough so I get my knee worked on. So, murder in the basketball, I just say that everything at the beginning of the way that situation went down could have been handled differently on both sides, and we would not be talking about it today.
Yeah, and I feel like that there's a preseason for the NFL, and then this being the first week of the NFL, this was kind of interesting. And of course, with this picture here, shot by a photographer that got it, he had just scored a touchdown, but then him and his teammate kind of reenacted him getting handcuffed, which I didn't quite catch.
I thought that was kind of funny, to tell the truth, because now in NFL they allow each player about 10 seconds of celebration or whatever you want to do, because not only he got handcuffed, but his teammate who stopped by to just make sure he's okay was also put in handcuff, and he didn't even understand why he was put in handcuff, and he was just noticed that his buddy's on the sidewalk and he was stopping to make sure everything was okay. So that was kind of a cool gesture. I thought that was kind of funny. But how was that played later on?
So according to CNN Sports, they said on Monday night the police went ahead and released the footage, and they said that the police union criticized Hill as uncooperative. And attorneys for one officer who was placed on administrative duties amid the review called the decision premature and called for the officer's immediate reinstatement. But in turn, the Dolphins organization released a statement criticizing the officer's conduct, and Hill's agent called for the officers to be fired. Hill told CNN that he remained confused by the encounter. And he says, Hill says, I'm still kind of shell shocked from it, and I'm a little embarrassed. But here's the thing. Why were you doing 135 miles an hour?
Sure.
I'm going to ask that question right off the top of the dome.
Yeah.
And then
in a 35.
And why didn't you de-escalate it by offering them tickets? I don't know. And it's Florida. Like Florida, the state of Florida just isn't, it's got a bad rep. So you should not, number one, you shouldn't be driving fast. You need to do things. I don't know. I'm not blaming Tyreek Hill, but I just don't want this kind of detracts from, was it 8 teams that played Sunday? 8 to 10 teams?
And the crazy part about that, Val, is you were saying, like Brown Sugar Cafe said, Not to, darkening your windows in any state is bad. But in Florida, right now with the election on, it's even worse right now. And you're a black man in a dark tent, and you rolling in a Lambo. It ain't like you rolling in a nice Cadillac, which is nice, or even a Benz, or so you rolling in a Lamborghini. So you know what I'm saying. So it's crazy. But like you said about, I don't know if the officer would have took it as a bribe, but I would have tried to bribe the hell out of him. I'd have been like, I ain't bribe nobody. I just said, can I offer you some tickets? Now I just offered in a good gesture. Now, whether you take it in whatever the department say, that's on you. But in the meanwhile, I got to get to the stadium because I got a game. But it reminds me about which is nuts, is the same thing happened to Shirley, the golfer, when he was in Louisville. Remember, he was running late for the golf, and he ran a light. Everything happened the same way at the golf course. He was right at the golf course, and he ran through a barrier where they had marked off not to go that way, and they took him out, and they arrested him, mugshot him, the whole 9 yards. So, it wasn't like that Tariq got any differently than that, and that just happened last month. The problem to that is, again, as he said, you're a young black man, you're in this situation, and these young kids always, always, always follow the athletes. And I'm hoping they don't do that, because this could get bad, or it could have went bad.
Right. And I see, definitely, I see Queen April is on Instagram, but she was just kind of chatting a little bit about it. But definitely just kind of, it just makes us nervous when we see someone with their face down on the ground, and handcuffed. Like, it just, I feel triggered. I'm sorry. I feel triggered when I saw that video, the initial video of what was released.
Yeah. And it brings you back flashes to George Floyd with the knee in the back, face to the pavement.
Right.
And that's why I'm understanding, why can't we, the officer could have, when he said my knee was bad, he could have leaned him over on the hood of the car. You know what I mean? Or he could have just said, hey, man, because it was like 7 or 8 police officers, just stay right here. Don't move or whatever. Just stay right there. Sit down in your car, leave the door open. Okay, we'll handle it that way.
Yeah. And this could have gone in so many horrible different directions. This could have gone in so many horrible different directions, Coach. It really could have. And you've heard this, where parents, and you're a parent that I know of, you have to have the talk with your children and say that when you are interacting, if it is a traffic stop, anything, it's a good learning experience. Like, you don't talk back. There's certain ways that you are. You if you're in the car, you put your hands on 10 and 2 and make sure that people see everything that's happening, because you might feel disrespected in the moment, and it doesn't matter if you're a famous football player or not. The number one thing that's happening is that you're black, and you want to make it home to your parents, your children, your wife, your loved ones. You don't want to end up anywhere, anything like that. So that is
the case. That is so true. And let me give you a true life. What you just said happened to me a few months back. And my son was in the car early morning, 10 o'clock a.m. I was rolling through a predominantly white neighborhood, coming down, very beautiful area, something similar to Oakbrook there, outside of Chicago, for those that kind of know geographically, but in a very predominantly white, beautiful area. And I turned. I'm in the middle of these two cars. There's a car in front of me. I'm in the middle of the car behind me. I turn and I doze off. And I looked in my rearview mirror and I noticed police had turned right behind me. So it's funny how we got to give our kids and ourselves a check down. I said, hey, told my son, hey, Tony, man, put your seatbelt on, chill out, no quick movements. Go ahead and let the window down. It was a little chilly outside, but go ahead and let the window down. I let the back window down. So the officer followed me for almost a little over 3/4 of a mile, which I thought was kind of interesting. So he got ready to pull me over. So, hey, I happened to see a white lady at home in her yard working. I pulled in her driveway. So he was like, why are you pulling her driveway? I was like, why are you pulling me over? So you have to know the law and know things faster than them. So when he initially, came to the car, Val, and asked me why was I being pulled over, I checked off 3 or 4 things so quickly he couldn't do it because I wasn't speeding, I wasn't riding recklessly or anything else. And here was the key that got him upset, but I knew. I said, if you're trying to write me a ticket, can you just please, Mr. Officer, show me where your radar gun was calibrated? So a lot of people don't understand that. I just knew it because I got a lot of close friends in the police department. And he got upset because I asked him that question, and then he tried to find anything from my tenant windows to even a little bottle cap that I had sitting in my console that I told him I use it because I play golf. So again, what you just said is, can you get home, and can you get home to the people that know you, love you safely, not to make sure that someone's trying to be a hero today.
Exactly. And like I said, in that moment, you can feel demoralized. You could feel
Yep.
talked against. There could be a slew of things that you could be, a couple of things that you could be feeling. But ultimately, you need to be able to make it home.
Yeah.
And all of the advice when people say, well, we have to have the talk with our children when they start driving. We need to, because this is a talk that white parents or other races of people are not having that chat with them. But it's that weird situation that happens between, and Kevin's like straight facts.
Oh yeah, yeah, because I got a friend of mine that played golf with us, Val, and he's married to an African American woman. He's a white gentleman, and and what you just said, he told me after my incident. He says, I never forget, in a few years ago, just going out, and our kids are roughly the same age, and I never forget that my wife sat her son down and gave him the what to do rules of getting pulled over. And he said, and the crazy part about it is my son had left an hour before, and I never said a word. He just left. So that just go, and they're sharing the same house, and it was different rules because of just ignorance, and he didn't know. And again, things can spin out of control, kind of like, speaking of spinning out of control, like we were talking about with Rebel Ridge. This is a situation that spun out of control. For those that haven't seen that movie, thank you, Val, for having me watch it, because it jarred crazy memories of when I got pulled over. But it was really weird because to watch this movie. By the way, he's my new Black Jason Statham. I love this brother, and I love
so
how he did it.
So let me jump in. Let me jump in real quick. They started shooting this film in a little downtown area called Leesville, Louisiana, probably in May of 2021. Guess who was initially attached to this project?
I'm gonna say maybe Denzel.
No, to play the Aaron Pierce role, the lead actor.
Man, I'm about to say maybe. Nah, he'd be too crazy. I'm gonna say Terrence Howard, but he'd be too crazy. I don't know.
Okay, well that's fine. I'm grateful that you asked that question. And of course, I want to make sure that I get this correctly. But in May of 2021, when this film, and when I say 2021, we're talking but just before COVID, I mean, it was just after COVID. We were still wearing masks, we were still doing those things or whatever.
Yep.
And of course, so I'll throw this in here because I was watching this film and I saw it pop up and I was like, well, I know this gentleman from an Aaron Pierce. He is an English actor, but the initial gentleman who was supposed to star was this gentleman right here, John Boyega.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was initially attached to star in this. And of course, there in Louisiana, they were excited about this coming to their small town. And of course, they said that it brought a lot of work to the town in Louisiana. And the mayor at the time, Rick Allen, he was bragging about, well, we have a film being shot here, and they had to use all of the downtown area. So some of the scenes from the film is happening in Leesville, Louisiana. I thought I'd give you that
Don
little fact
Johnson.
there.
And we got a little taste of Miami Vice. Don Johnson playing.
I know.
And he played a role that I would normally see crazy Ray Liotta play. You know what I mean? I expect Ray Liotta. If Ray Liotta was playing that old crazy cop, I can get it. But it's the crazy part about it is that, Val, again, this situation from this black brother with money in his pocket, riding down a highway, and the cop just pulled up on him, wasn't even on him 5 seconds, ran him off his bicycle, and then told him that he was fleeing. But who the heck can flee from a car on a 10-speed, girl, with a backpack?
Not me.
Nah. And then takes his money, and then the brother goes and does his own investigation and find out this is how the town make their money. And it's absolutely insane. That is a situation, again, spiral out of control. But the cool part about it, I love the way, as we say, de-escalation. I love the way this brother played the whole movie and didn't have to kill nobody. That was
right.
genius.
And so the director of this film, Jeremy Saudier, I think that's how you pronounce it. And of course, this is Anna Sophia Robb that you see right here. And of course, it was a little hard for me to see Sonny Crockett play a dirty cop for Miami Vice.
Yeah. Yeah. Man.
Like, no.
Hey, but hey, he did his thing, though. I'm gonna give it to him. He did his thing.
Yeah, and so one of the things about the film, he's the lead actor, and this is Aaron Pierce. He's an ex-Marine that's coming to get his cousin out. He has cash on him, and come to find out he's connected. He's sold. However he got the money, he got it legitimately. It was nothing wrong, but
got it out of business. Remember, he was part of the Chinese business. He got out of his partnership with the Chinese restaurant.
Right. And the small town, it's corruption in a small town when an attempt to post bail goes left, and he tries to de-escalate it. My favorite line in the film, when he's on the phone with him, he's on the phone with Don Johnson's character, who plays the dirty cop, Chief Sandy Byrne. That's his name in there, Chief Sandy Byrne. And he says, this has gotten out of hand. I was thinking, just to walk away. And then the chief comes in. He said, oh, now you're thinking proper. You're thinking good. He's like, but I thought about it and was, nah.
Right.
I was falling out when that part came up. I was like, oh my goodness.
Then I'm going to add to that one. One of my favorite ones was when the black woman then turned on him. He looked at her like, he wanted to say, girl, please. He already whooped everybody. I'm trying not to put my hands on you. I know you didn't want me to put your hands on. So he just convinced her with his eyes and his look that she started helping.
Oh God, what a beautiful cast. That's them at the premiere of this. This is a picture provided by Getty Images. My goodness. We got Anna Sophia Robb, who plays Summer, who helps out Terry Richmond. This is Aaron Pierce. And the young lady that you just mentioned, her name, I'm looking for her right now. Also Daniel Chung, Reed Williams, David Dinneman, and of course, just like I said, we have some really great actors. And here's the thing: guess Rotten Tomatoes what the score is for Rotten Tomatoes for Rebel Ridge.
What's that?
94.
Ooh, that's good. And kind of like what Brown Cafe was talking about, you got to look at these people. That's a great rating. But here's a question I got for you, Val, and the people listening. Mm-hmm. Why in the hell every time we got a corrupted police department and something, is the movies are either out of Mississippi, M-I, crooked letter I, or down here in not L.A., but in the bottom of lower L.A.? I just want to know, because there's several movies that we got. Every time we turn around, there's always corruption in the police department. There's always in Louisiana, always in Mississippi.
Well, for referring back to the great acting, here's the thing. I don't know why, and I was researching why John Boyega left the project, but I think that Aaron Pierce did a great job. And when I heard him talk, my mouth dropped because I'm like, he's English. So
Wow.
his American accent was great. And of course, I'm glad to hear from a couple of folks, especially from Terrence Brown Sugar. He's at Brown Sugar Cafe. He says Rebel Ridge was great. And like I said, it's true action. I knew I was in the middle of the film and I felt my heart rate go up. And I was like, what am I nervous for the lead? Am I nervous for the folks that's happening? And when I noticed that Summer was helping Terry, I was like, I hope nothing happens to her. And then of course, but you have to see it. So it's a slow burn and he de-escalates. He tries to de-escalate things all the time. And Aaron Pierce really plays the character Terry to, like I was wondering what are the initials from the Marines that it is. And when they were doing the research, they found out that he was a weapons specialist, but one that knows how to take things apart.
Combat. Yeah, and hand-to-hand combat. So the question I had you about is, because I love that, it's kind of like God saw what he was trying to do. He finally got one of the bad boys that turned on his side, because without that police officer's help and telling him about how to turn the camera on, and then the voice box is in the back of the trunk, the whole 9 yards, and then he get the help from the boys, the state boys, who reels him in. So I love everything except the way they wrapped it up at the end of the movie. I thought maybe they could have stretched it out. So my question to you is, do you think that the way that they ended it is a great situation to come back to have a part 2?
I think so. And and here's the thing, I would have wanted to know exactly what happened with the chief, what happened with a couple of the other officers that were kind of, I think all of them were corrupt, but then, a lot of people were thinking, oh, he's going to steal the money, and he didn't. And so, and the scare, and then to just figure it out that, these arrests were happening, and it was good that the character Summer was doing all of that research to say, this is what's been happening. And he had an out. People, if you're like, okay, this is happening, this is corrupt, but it has nothing to do with me. But then now it has everything to do as some of the events turn. And like I said, so this is one of these films where you're thinking, you know what, I want to know what's going to happen. I would like to see what will be happening with that. So I'm curious. I don't know what could happen, but like I said, I'm thinking about it. But let me do this. Let me do a hard pivot. Go check out Rebel Ridge. It's streaming right now on Netflix. It just got started September 6th, and right now it is the #1 streaming movie for Netflix. And like I said, it's getting a lot of rave reviews, including 94% with Rotten Tomatoes. Now let's talk about this. Along with it being the first week of the NFL, of course, I didn't think they would announce so quickly who was going to be the halftime show person, but this is the article. I see Kevin Springer. Yeah, Nicki Minaj, Birdman, and more slam Jay-Z over Supertime half show. Like, why are we getting slammed because we have Kendrick Lamar? What's going on with that? Can you explain that?
Excuse me, I apologize. Well, here's what I'm thinking. And this will be the only reason why I'm thinking that. The rappers are probably looking at Jay-Z to spread the wealth. And you just had Kendrick Lamar at the Super Bowl 2 years ago with Dr. Dre and Snoop and them. Even though he was a special guest and it wasn't his show, it was a show for Dre, and Dre was able to invite whom he wanted to. I get what Jay-Z's doing, because Jay-Z's like, hey, this kid is the hottest talent going right now. period. Especially after that back and forth diss with him and Drake that you and I covered a few months back. And he got one of the hottest diss tracks that was ever made that automatically hit the top 5 ever produced. So I know Jay's like, man, let me capture the moment right now and get this kid. Oh, this is going to be crazy. The Super Bowl is going to be lit. And I get him, put him in there, and I'm going to add a few other people around. So that's probably why people are upset, only because this kid has made the Super Bowl appearance 2 times in the last 3 years.
So what's happening according to the Rolling Stone article that we have listed up there? So far, people were kind of rooting for and was hoping that it would be Lil Wayne. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I'm trying to remember. I know some of his earlier hits, but I'm not necessarily know. And then they said, why didn't they pick someone from New Orleans, because Super Bowl is going to be in New Orleans this
and
year.
I get that. Yeah, and I get he could have did a no limit. Woo-wee. If I'm them, and I'll give that article correct. If the Super Bowl's in LA, they went and got Drake. If moved to New Orleans, I'd have just strictly did a no limit and Baby. I wouldn't not necessarily had Wayne, and I get whoever said Wayne because Lil Wayne just hit the top 25 rock and roll performers of all time. He made Rolling magazines, top 25 performers, and people didn't think he deserved that, being who he was in Rolling Stones. But if you do that and bring it to New Orleans, and you got Master P, right? Make him say, right? You come back with your boy, Baby, and you got Wayne, and you got, man, bag that. Girl, you're looking good. Won't you bag the thing up? I mean, trust me.
I think that would have, to me, in my mind, that would have almost repeated what happened with the Dre Snoop situation. But I think that would have been cool. And according to Rolling Stone, Nicki, Birdman also joined Master P, Cameron, and Mace, or other artists that all believe that Lil Wayne should have been the headliner in February in New Orleans. And so, and I think it says, oh yeah, Master P wrote an open letter on his Instagram. This is from his Instagram. # Lil Wayne should be a part of this celebration as well. He's one of the greatest hip hop artists alive, still relevant, and he's a New Orleans native. Let's not miss this cultural moment in the South. So here's my thing. Now, Nicki Minaj is really angry, and she's really speaking harshly against Jay-Z. But here's the thing. I understand that Jay-Z is connected with Live Nation, but I don't think he has final say so. I don't think he has final say so on who they pick for the artist.
Well, he's probably got 5150 or he's probably 5149, and he's probably 49. So his information and what he says weighs heavily. And I think that's how that is. I'm sure Jay's looking at it from a business perspective, and Jay probably didn't even look at it in terms of the location with Baby and Wayne and all of them. He probably was looking at it, like I said, if this is the hottest artist that is on the market right now, and we're just trying to keep things relevant. Now, I think if he'd have went to the No Limit Soldier and did everything that's good. Here's the problem to that, Val. The backfire. You got, Smokey. Smokey had the backfire trying to stop the car like the Flintstone. I think the backfire is that you're now going to upset a lot of relevant rappers. Of course, you may see some more diss tracks and songs come up against Jay or whatever. Or it's going to be a terrible fallout after this to the powers that be, that Jay-Z doesn't no longer need to pick talents for Super Bowl. They need to be done in a different way. So I'm not sure, but trust me, but this is not the end of it. I'm like you though, Val. The Super Bowl ain't to February. Why are you choosing right now? Because no one knew Dre was going to perform until damn near to the Super Bowl. It was like they were like, "Oh, it's a big surprise," and no one knew at all Dre was going to perform until almost the Super Bowl went off.
Right. Well, the one thing I do remember about the Super Bowl, and you guys let us know and chime in the chat and let us know. But here's the thing. I knew they were advertising for the Super Bowl, maybe about 6 to 8 weeks out, maybe. But it was kind of closer to, like, we didn't really know about that. And here's the
Right.
thing. They're probably looking at that performance, and that was 2022, I believe, with Snoop, Dre, Eminem, and then Kendrick Lamar. That won an Emmy. That won an Emmy.
Yeah.
That whole direction and performance of that Super Time halftime show won an Emmy, which is, and I know those folks are looking at that type of thing, but yeah. What was that?
But you got the greatest rapper that basically paved the way for these young guys. I don't care what, that's why I argue with these cats about MJ. There's no argument, period, about that. You know, it was a lot of great ball players, but Mike just transcended a lot of stuff in the game totally different. And not that, we would probably be, it would have come, but later on. And that's just like Dre. When Dre them going from NWA to the stuff he did, he opened the doors, he kicked doors down, and then he brings in three of the hottest people with him, and Eminem, 50, and then he got Mary J. Blige with him, and then he brings in a young Kendrick Lamar at that time in 22, who then had the #1 selling album. People forget. He had the #1 selling album at that time and the selling track. So to come back and to get into it with Dre again, I don't think that Jay-Z was looking at this, Val, in terms of, I'm in New Orleans, I need to get some New Orleans natives, and I need to get somebody from New Orleans that's going to bring it like I had in LA. I think he looked at it like, who can we bring to rock the Superdome to really bring the crowd to their feet and go crazy? You know something? I know Kendrick Lamar Hart right now, let's get him. But in retrospect, if he would have went to Wayne and Baby and Juvenile and Master P, he would have really rocked the crowd, because trust me, their music to predominantly whites who are going to be at the Super Bowl is more relevant than he is to Kendrick Lamar. I was at the school the other day, not mentioning playing some Kendrick Lamar, and they was like, Coach, who is this? I'm like, what you mean, who is this? It's Kendrick Lamar. They didn't even know it was Kendrick Lamar. But if I put on a Lil Wayne song or Baby or Master P, they definitely would have knew who that was.
Yeah. So I don't understand. Well, I don't get it, and I don't understand it. But like I said, he had recorded a song back in 2015 called "All Right." That song got me through 2020. 2020 was rough, and that song from Kendrick got me through. I said, if God got us, then we gonna be all right. That was my jam. Because I just was thinking, I need something that's good. The rage of what was happening and the
Swimming Pool with J. Cole.
Breonna Taylor. Huh?
I love Swimming Pool with J. Cole. Now we take one more shot. Drink, sit down, drink.
But you know what? Who else is going to appear with Kendrick? So I say, now here we go. I need Nicki Minaj to calm down, because she, in that article, she goes off on Jay and she goes off on a few other people. So I'm just thinking, you're making enemies in the print. So calm down. There's a way to work this out, because every artist, anyone that's worth their salt, and here's the thing, they don't pay the artist to perform. You have to come up with sponsorship money or whatever to put all that stuff on. But what happens is, if you're launching a big project, this is the best launch pad for whatever album you do, whatever movie, whatever you got going on. This is like the biggest launch pad, because it's a guarantee. Anywhere of all the folks that tune into the Super Bowl, I think the last numbers were anywhere between 40 and 50 million that tuned in to the Super Bowl, which is huge. So any artist, this is a great thing for it. But I don't have an issue with Kendrick Lamar, but many others do. So.
Well, I think that if I'm Kendrick Lamar, here's two people I'm bringing to the party. As a female, I'm bringing Tim's. I'm bringing Tim's. That'll calm the crowd down. And then I'm bringing J. Cole. So if I come with J. Cole, me and J. Cole rocking, and we got a couple of tracks together already, and then can smooth everything out with Tim's, or maybe even let Tim's open up, Jay jump in the middle, and Jay fade into a track that me and Jay sing together, and then those two walk off stage and Kendrick Lamar finish it up and smash it out, that would be great. The other side of the coin, which would be insane, would be to actually invite Drake and have the diss battle at the Superdome.
Yeah, so I guess some people would be interested in seeing that. I don't necessarily know, but I don't think. Here's the thing: if you had a beef with an actor, would you monologue them or talk about them real bad in a monologue? How would you word battle with someone you had an issue with?
Well, Val, I'm from the old school. If I'm gonna worry about it, I'm about to knock on your door. That's how we gonna do it. I ain't about to. I'm not about to sit up here. I had a situation, no names, no this, no that. Same thing with a misunderstanding of an ex-person that played for me, became a coach and this and that, and completely misunderstanding. I was trying to help that person out, and being that they're young, that person tried to jump on IG and a couple other things and go off and say some nasty stuff and things of that nature. And my ex-ball players called me and they were like, "Man, coach, I'm so glad you didn't even do it." For one, I'm like, dude, I ain't even on that social media where that platform is at. And two, a dumb person can't talk to themselves, but for a little while after that, they're gonna figure out they nobody responded. So I think in a situation nowadays, Val, the end thing would be to jump back on and blast back and then go back and forth. And this is what they call these studio gangsters, why people getting shot and killed and things of that nature, if not physically harmed and hurt because of arguments going on over social media for nothing. When I could have just picked the phone up and called you like, "Hey, Val, you got a problem with me? What's up? And let's work this out. See what's up."
Anyway, so while some things were happening on yesterday, we found out, the word got out about actor, voice-over actor, person that was an EGOT. He got an Emmy, he got a Grammy, he got a Tony, he got an Oscar. James Earl Jones is now with the ancestors. I have to say, one of the best actors of, I want to say, the 20th century, but definitely his career spans 6 decades to coach.
Right.
6 decades.
Longer than I've been here. And the question is, he was beautiful. What gets me too, I've actually been through his hometown on my way to see my cousins out in Mississippi, south of the Hattiesburg area. And I didn't even know he was from Mississippi until I came back and, read some stuff on him. And then, there's always noticed, Val, there's always some of our, whether black or white, some of our actors and actresses that become famous usually has a situation. He had a heavy speech impediment as a child and was able to overcome that. And look what happened to him.
I know. And I did pretty much a tribute. I was thinking about writing it yesterday. And then I said, let me try to write it now. Cause I was thinking he has done so much for, I want to say, the acting community. And definitely if you ever saw him in something, if you ever saw him on stage, if you ever saw him on screen, he was memorable. He was memorable. And so that was kind of the thing I wanted to just point out. Now, a lot of people are not going to remember some of the earlier films, like The Great White Hope. I think that came out in like 68. Claudine was one of the films that came out, I think, in 74. In my mind, that was like the Love Jones of the 70s.
Exactly right. And that was a funny part about it. But my question to you, and I'm gonna give you mine. Give me your top 5 in order from 5, 4, 3, 2, in your top 5 James Earl Jones movies in order from 5 to 1. What would they be?
Wow, you would do that. And I'll definitely do this. We did a poll on the Facebook, on the Interludes Facebook page, and we wanted to make sure that I had listed about 8 films, and I wanted to see which ones would come up as the top, because if you look at the IMDb page, guess how many credits are listed, Coach?
How many?
190.
Ooh.
190. So that means he was acting pretty much all of his life, and then a lot of it was voice as well. So another thing that a lot of people don't know, and I found this out in my research as I get to my list, is that he was paid, I think, $7,000 by George Lucas to do the voice of Darth Vader.
Mm-hmm.
And that was he did the voice, and that was supposed to be it. And then as more films started to come with Star Wars, they kept asking him, come back and do the voice. So a lot of people didn't know he did the voice until maybe the Empire Strikes Back, or maybe the third film that came out, which technically is the 6th episode. I get confused.
Yeah. Between him and Morgan Freeman, them damn voices started doing commercials. Hey, that's incredible. But you want to give me yours? I give you mine.
All right. Well, I'm gonna start off with number 5 would be Field of Dreams.
Okay.
And that's the one with Kevin. That's the one with Kevin Costner. I really like that one. Of course, we're gonna do what is it called? I'm looking at, there was a couple of things that came out in the 90s that I was a big fan of. The Hunt for Red October. That's number 4 for me. So number 4 is The Hunt for Red October. And then number 3, I want to say number 2, but number 3 is Claudine. Okay. And that's the one with Diane Carroll. Yeah. Number 2 is Lion King. Number 1 is Coming to America.
Okay. Well, I don't know how you left the best of the best out, but my number 5 is Conan and the Barbarian. Love that.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
He jammed. My number 4, definitely the same, is Field of Dreams, 1989. I remember that because I remember the Madonna situation, and she tried to come back, and her thing was pretty cool. The third one was The Lion King. Love Mufasa. I remember that was at the time the baby was growing up, and got the original video. It's probably worth a lot of money now, especially with him passing on. My number 2 is nothing but the Darth Vader and the Star Wars series, because 1979, DJing at house music, and the Star Wars track was one of the coldest tracks you could jump on and put at a house music set back in the day. And then, of course, what you talking about, son? I've never tied my shoes before, and that looks boring anyway. So Coming to America, the original, definitely number 1 movie for me as well.
Definitely. So I feel like there are a lot of films, and like I said, the Lion King, I think he did twice, because they did a what do you call this? They did a remake of it, and so they brought him in to help with the remake, and then of course they brought him back in to do Coming to America. So I mean, I feel like that is what's most important. And definitely with acting, like I said, I'm glad you mentioned this. I didn't know he had a stuttering issue. I had absolutely no clue. And this is the one I wanted to represent. I'm sorry, let me bring this back up. This is a young Courtney B. Vance, and this is James Earl Jones from the Broadway play from August Wilson called Fences.
Fences, yes.
And I think Don Cheadle that spoke about working with him and said that he learned a lot from James Earl Jones. Samuel Jackson talked about working with him. Like people said that it was like a master class of what he was to them in the acting community. And of course, I did not know this. This is Kevin Springer. James Earl Jones was also the voice of Pantro in Thundercats. I didn't know that.
And Terrence Howard worked with him as well on Broadway stage. Don't forget, Driving Miss Daisy.
Oh, he sure did. I totally forgot. I totally forgot about that too.
So again, 190 IBM movies and different things. That's like you said, Val. You only got 12 months in a year, and you only count a couple of things he's doing, the projects per year, and that's a long span. But that lets you know how good you are. But listening to something he said, before he passed away, they asked him about, when he took original movies and original roles, how did that come about? You know what he said?
What did he say?
He said when he originally got it in Claudine, he said he was told, never run from a part, run to it, no matter how big or how small, because you never know where your next opportunity is going to come. And you run from a small play and you knock it out the ballpark, your next one may be a Super Bowl. And that is so true. That's about life as well.
Exactly. So I want to call it my tribute that I had on Facebook. I said, rest in power. I like saying rest in power, then rest in peace. And of course, in our Interludes podcast, I listed 8 movies for folks to vote on. And I'm looking at the votes, though. I think all the votes have come in now. Patriot Games was on there. The Great White Hope was on there. So people weren't familiar with that. Yeah. Star Wars. Yeah, Star Wars was on there. I think it had the lowest votes. A Field of Dreams and Star Wars was at like 10%. The Lion King was at 20%. So I guess that's a little bit far. But of course, Field of Claudine had 20% of the votes. But who had the most votes was Coming to America. So according to our Interludes podcast Facebook group, their favorite James Earl Jones movie is Coming to America.
Yeah, by far. And that's the original. Let's make that clean. The original.
Yeah, the 1988 version. I don't know what happened in 2021. I just know that the original one. My son works. No, I'm sorry.
Right. He said, what? And he's like, what you back here doing? Oh, you sowing your raw oats. That's good, son. That's good. Go to America and do it. So where should we go? Let's go to Queens. Oh, where? Why you want to go to Queens? To find a queen.
Wait.
Original outtakes in that movie.
How could you let him work in such a fuss? And I was like, what does that mean?
Right.
You were supposed to be looking after him. How could you let him work in such a fuss?
Hey, he chilled out when he ran up into James Evans. James Evans said, hey, boy, let me tell you something one more time. You got one more thing to say about my daughter, and I don't give a damn who you are. This money, I'm going to take that.
I'm going to break my foot in your royal butt. I was like, what?
But he said it like that, but he meant that.
Oh, that was cool to see them both be able to return to the remake that they did a couple of years ago for the next version of Coming to America. And I know Eddie was kind of thinking, I got to get to this before more people, before people disappear. Madge Sinclair, that played his wife, the Queen, in Coming to America, I think passed away in the 2000s. But like I said, just a great talent. I'm trying to get to what I said on my page about James Earl Jones, and this is what I wanted to officially close with. Here we go. A King Among Kings. Over the past day, I've been reflecting on the extraordinary life and career of James Earl Jones, his body of work touching many generations, including my own. For years, I didn't know that the Darth Vader voice was him. And then also from The Great White Hope to Field of Dreams to Coming to America to my personal favorite, Claudine, and his award-winning voice of Mufasa in The Lion King. Jones appeared upon numerous television series, Broadway stages, and movie screens in a career that spanned 6 decades. He became an EGOT, an Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony Award winner, being recognized and well respected across many platforms. And so I say farewell to a brilliant talent who overcame speech impediment and to become one of the most recognizable voices in the world. Thank you so much for your time and care in every role you've played, every actor, director you've influenced, and every man you've inspired to be a king. Rest in power, King James.
Hey,
So that is our
well said.
Thank you. Thank you so very much for that. Oh my goodness. But as we wrap up, and I know there's a thing that's happening on television called a debate. So of course I'm recording it, so I'll be able to rewind it and see what the Orange Dream said to the Queen.
She said, "You better recognize." She's probably gonna start talking like Martin. I have a dream. Let me tell you something, son. You better recognize who you're talking to. Hey, I got to end on this real quick because I know we haven't seen it, and I'm gonna have people laughing on the outtake because I know me. If you was Kamala Harris coming out tonight on stage, and you was Queen Val, what would have been your theme song tonight to come out to?
Oh, a theme song that I would come out to?
Yeah, let me hear what you would have gave.
Let's see. James Brown. No, that's Papa Don't Take No Mess. I need something that's a woman empowerment. I don't know. I think I would come out on some, it would be a Beyonce situation, some kind of
Okay.
Who Run the World Girls.
Okay. Now me, I'd hit him hard.
Oh, you would have hit him hard. What you would have hit him with?
I came out with one or two songs. I would have came out and heard that doo doo, all eyes on me. They say, and I've been walking out pimping like Barack used to do. She stepping in her high heel, came out, all eyes on me, cameras on, she waving. Or being that she's an AKA, I'd have had my girls come out, set it off on the left, y'all, set it off on the right, y'all, set it off. Hey,
Set it off,
and then she could have stepped out and on the left and waited on the right. Hey, that would have been dope. That would have just crushed it. Of course, some of the mainstream wouldn't know what the hell she was singing to, but it would have been ridiculous. They were like, you remember when she came out on stage with some set it off with a sorority sister? And he probably would say, oh, he's got the black women with him.
And that would have been really, really funny. I mean, like totally like, what is going on? Like what are you doing? Well, coming up tomorrow, this is a special thing that we're having on tomorrow, is Alexis Levy. We're going to have her for the season 2 opening of the Pull Up Podcast. We had something happen yesterday, and we're going to do it again. We're going to talk about it. We're going to do it again.
Hey, let's do it again. Don't. Hey, like to say, let's do it again. Yeah, we had some technical issues coming from yesterday. Alexis Levi is my girl coming out of Las Vegas. And, I was telling Val before the show, for those that watched the show last night, I appreciate you. Make sure you tune back in because this young lady has got some important information. For those that are watching tonight, if you got a child that's between below 18 and older than 12, that's an athlete, a nephew, a niece, or whatever. Or if you got a child, a nephew, niece, or friend that's older than 19, you want to tune in because tomorrow night on the Pull Up Podcast show, you will have the opportunity to figure out how that person that has the ability to compete for $100,000. And I didn't stutter, for $100,000. So again, my motto, don't meet me there. Tell them, Val, beat me there.
Exactly. I'm trying to see, do I have the commercial she gave us?
Oh, that'd be great. If you could play that commercial real quick for them, that'd be awesome. Just so they can get a little whip. But the young lady is just phenomenally talented. She's been in the sports game for many, many years. I almost call her the Oprah Winfrey of the sports game. You know what I'm saying? So, and she's funny. She's cool as all get out. And it's great to just be, I always compliment you, Val, because over the 12, 16, 18 months we've been doing it, I've slowly been, feeding you more and more. You've been getting it, and then you surprise me when you say, Coach, I watched the game last night. I'm like, that's good. But to see somebody, to speak to somebody who in this space who very conversed in it, has worked all her life in it, and then back in the space of sports, that's phenomenal.
Right. I'm totally excited about it all. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. But
So
yeah,
6
so
p.m.
that is
Central, 4 p.m. West Coast, 7 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night on the Pull Up Podcast Show.
thanks for that, Mr. Springer. We really appreciate that as always. And let's see. Oh, and then of course, as we wrap up, it is a DJ Saved My Life. A DJ Saved My Life. It is the ebook from your girl Val the Voice Johnson. It is part memoir, part how to get started doing your own podcast. You can scan the QR code or visit purelightHousemedia.net and pick up a copy of it today. And of course, we're going to do this. Oh, yeah, we're going to do this. Interludes Extra presents Find Your Voice. Join our Patreon community today. And of course, you could do that by going to patreon.com/interludes. Yeah. Here we go. That's what we do. Okay. And of course, this is one of our audio podcasts wrapping up our 8th season with Tracy Brooks, Legacy and Spotlight, a conversation with Tracy Brooks. But of course, we're going live every Wednesday. So I'll be chit-chatting tomorrow and letting you guys know. But of course, tune in tomorrow for what we got going on with Alexis Levy. And that's going to be a fun show. Oh my goodness. All right, Coach. Well, we're wrapping up. We're gonna go ahead and check out a little bit what I could catch of the debate.
Yeah, I gotta check out what she's talking about on here. So we get to some of this economy. You know what I'm saying?
There we go.
But
and of course, you know what we say. We're out, and we'll see you guys on next week. Peace.